Last season, PSG ended our Champions League dream in the round of 16. This year, we've got another shot at reaching the quarterfinals. The only problem is, Manchester City stand in our way. Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Sammy Plays. After a thrilling knockout playoff tie against Porto, we are through to the Champions League round of 16 for the second year running. Last year, we got knocked out by PSG. This year, we will be looking to go one further. The only issue is we've got Manchester City standing in our way, and they do still have the robot that is Erling Haaland. So this isn't going to be easy. Can this Aberdeen side pull off one of the biggest results in the club's history and reach the Champions League quarterfinals? Let's get into it and find out. And we're going to be jumping straight into the first leg against Manchester City at Pittodrie in this one. And you can see from their starting lineup, they have made some interesting signings with Szoboszlai, Tom Bischoff, and probably pretty exciting one in Keenan Yildiz. So this will be an interesting test. And it is Manchester City with the first chance inside the opening minute. This was straight from kickoff as the shot coming in from range, but a great save from Vitek to keep the scoreline at 0-0. And very nearly and a very early goal for Manchester City. And then Vitek was called into action again inside the opening 11 minutes with, only assume, is a new gen in Mikus, as his shot is saved low down to the keeper's right-hand side. And then Keenan Yildiz finding Erling Haaland, and he surprisingly shoots wide of the post. I only thought he ever hit the target, so I was quite relieved to see that one go wide. And then we finally see a chance for us, as in the 30th minute, Robinson gets it out wide, Sarto heading it down, and Levi puts us 1-0 up, completely against the run of play. But we do not care as we take the lead. And then it gets even better in the 39th minute as Profundi lays it off to Wernblad, and he gives us a 2-goal lead. And what a moment this is for the club, taking a 2-goal lead against Manchester City. But we were very quickly humbled. As you know, Erling Haaland wasn't going to make the same mistake twice, and he puts this one away to bring it back to 2-1. On to the second half, and we did have some more chances in this one with a great ball over the top to find Profundi, and he probably should have squared it there. The keeper saves and puts it out for a corner when Martin Wernblad was standing in the middle ready for a tap-in. And then another shot from range, drawing a save from the goalkeeper, and that was the last effort of the game as we go on to win a historic 2-1 victory over Manchester City in the first leg of the round of 16 tie. And with not too much else happening between the games, I thought I'd show you the schedule, or the results basically, since we actually changed to this formation. And you can see we have been on a seriously good run, and the tactics certainly have worked for us. So that is very nice to see. And we've actually won 14 games in a row now in all competitions. So, yeah, we are absolutely cooking. And with that, we have been offered a new contract, which obviously, with the challenge still incomplete of us winning the Champions League, we were always going to accept it. So, the board giving us the chance to try and actually go on and win the Champions League. Next up, we had an away trip to Broxburn Athletic, and I'm not entirely sure where this team is from, but it was Scottish Cup tie. And we were obviously certainly expecting a good, comfortable victory in this one. And Ofer Levi gets us off to a great start as he puts us 1-0 up. Ajek looks to have got a second inside the 17th minute, but unfortunately it was ruled out for offside. But it isn't long before we get the second as Moise Keane blasts it into the top of the net and makes it 2. In the 37th, Caicedo added a third with a header from a corner. And then just before half-time, Morgan Gibbs-White sends the cross in. Caicedo gets the head on it, goes for the second and gets fouled, winning us a penalty, which Moise Keane steps up and has it saved. And somehow it still hadn't gone for half-time, and Morgan Gibbs-White brings the ball all the way back in and adds another as we go 4-0 up by half-time. And then 2 minutes into the second half, Ansu Fati going past his man with ease and firing into the bottom corner as we go on to the next round with a nice, comfortable 5-0 victory. And in that next round, we are going to be playing St Johnstone or Partick Thistle in the semi-final. So we do also still have that to look forward to. But now, back to the game against Manchester City. The second leg, we've got a 2-1 advantage going into this one. Can we do the business at the Etihad? It is going to be difficult. And they are going to be out for revenge after missing a serious amount of chances in the first leg. But we do have some good chances of our own in this one, as Vernblad drawing a save from Donnarumma. He puts it out wide for a corner, and then Tom Bischoff doing the same, drawing a save from Vitek, as the scoreline remains 0-0. Milovanovic then finds Profundi, who probably should have done better, but another good save from Donnarumma to keep the scoreline at 0-0. And then it was the robot's turn. So he gets free down the left, skips past his man, goes past another, and shoots wide of the post. Unbelievably, didn't expect that to go wide. But into the 63rd minute, Pavlovic pulling it back to McGuinness. Not entirely sure who he is, but he crosses it to the far post, and Keith Smith heads into the back of the net to give City a 1-goal lead. And then 12 minutes later, Pavlovic finding Keith Smith as he gets free down the right. Doig wins it back, but quickly loses possession again, and Keith Smith finds Pavlovic, who slips it through to Haaland, who scores his 15th goal in 10 games of the Champions League and puts City 2-0 up, completely flipping the tie as it makes it 3-2 on aggregate in Man City's favour. Rodri then goes close to completely cutting the tie off as he hits the crossbar, and then Keith Smith finding Haaland. He plays it to Pavlovic. Pavlovic goes past his man with ease and unbelievably shoots wide. But it didn't matter, as City have gone on to win 2-0 and they will be advancing to the quarterfinals as they've knocked us out 3-2 on aggregate. So, yeah, quite disappointed to have lost that one in the end. If we'd have just managed to get a goal back or not concede the 2 goals, we'd be advancing ourselves. And yeah, I think we are very close to being able to actually knock these sorts of teams out. So Man City do overturn the first leg and put us out, but we have received 10 million for playing in the round of 16. So nice little boost back to the finances. And I certainly think we gave a good account of ourselves anyway. And that just leaves us with the Scottish Cup and the league left to focus on. So back to the league in this one as we welcome Motherwell to Pittodrie. And Eric Adams' shot is blocked, coming back to over Levi, who gives us a 1-goal lead in the 38th minute. And then just before half-time, Levi picking out Moise Keane. He cuts back, pulls it back to Hernandez, who puts it in the near post and makes it 2-0. Then 12 minutes into the second half, Moise Keane drops deep, plays it off to Adam, and Hajek slots it past the goalkeeper to give us a 3-0 victory, as we edge closer to getting another league title. But unfortunately, Moise Keane has picked up a calf strain in that one, and he is going to be out for a little while now, 3 to 4 weeks for him. Hajek, the youngster, on form again. He has certainly stepped up when required this season, so pretty pleased with him. And unfortunately, our youth prospects this time not looking so good with just the 4 good prospects. Basically, not going to be good enough for the first team. Next up, we welcome St Mirren, and as I mentioned the last time we played them, they have been very good against us recently, causing all sorts of problems, as they've certainly stepped up to be one of the most difficult teams for us, domestically at least. And they go 1-0 up in this one early on, but just before half-time, Milovanovic's cross, finding Ansu Fati, who heads into the back of the net and levels the game up. And very nice to see him getting a consistent run of games without an injury. 64th minute, Robinson gets down the left, pulls it back to Funk. Funk plays it back to Robinson, and he shoots low and hard into the far corner to give us a 2-1 lead and completely turn the tie around. And then Sato crossing it to the far post, and Ansu Fati gets his second goal of the game as he makes it 3-1. And then with almost the last kick of the game, Profundi plays a lovely ball over the top to Semi, who goes one-on-one with the keeper and fires past him to wrap the game up with a nice 4-1 victory. And then some good news here for our youngsters, as Pedro Silva has made his debut for Portugal. Urena has scored his first goal for Costa Rica, and Milovanovic also getting his first start for Serbia. So pretty nice to see that being recognised on the international stage. And talking of Milovanovic, he has been listed in the Next Gen Top 50, coming in at 22nd. So the rest of the world is taking note of him. Next up, a trip to Celtic Park. And we were looking to go, I think it was 10 wins in a row if we won this one. Gilberto Moura shooting just over, threatening that in the first half. But a game of very few chances. And Celtic crossing it in from this free kick, but we get the ball back. Morgan Gibbs-White advancing all the way down the pitch as he finds Ansu Fati, who squares it to Vernblad, who fires past the keeper. And what a counter-attack that is, as we go on to win the game 1-0. And straight after that, we had another trip to Glasgow as we go to Ibrox to face Rangers. And this one was a little bit more excited and is in the 3rd minute. Perfundi pulls it back to Funk, who fires it in, and it somehow ends up to Vernblad, who taps it into the back of the net to make it 1-0. And then Rangers on the attack. What a run from Asugo as he fires it out wide. It comes into the middle. Chamiti fires it into the back of the net. But thankfully for us, the goal was checked by VAR and given offside. So the scoreline remains 1-0. Into the second half, Hernandez getting it back from Carlos Alexander. It goes to Semi. Vernblad. Semi. All the way. Semi fires it into the back of the net. Vernblad. I don't know where they even swapped it over there, but we do take a 2-goal lead. Till the 90th minute. The cross comes into the middle and Sam Dick does pull one back for Rangers. But thankfully, we do go on to win the game 2-1. So, with those back-to-back wins against Celtic and Rangers, we have guaranteed Champions League football for next season yet again, which means we are not too far away from actually winning the title for, I think, the 4th season in a row. And with that, we actually have our transfer budget ready for next season. And it still isn't a great deal, but it is 8.4 million, which is about 6 million more than it usually is. So that gives us a little bit more money to spend in the summer. So we'll see what we can do with that, as we might still need to sell to free up some more cash to bring in some more improvements. So unfortunately, our Champions League run does come to an end at the same stage as last season. But in fairness, we do keep getting drawn against some of the very top teams in Europe. We put up a great fight against Manchester City, winning that home leg 2-0. But then that pesky robot, Erling Haaland, got Man City back in the tie. And unfortunately, it is going to be them advancing to the next round. But what this run has shown me is that we are not too far away from beating these sorts of teams. Whether it's a couple of sidings or maybe another year or two of development for our top youngsters, genuinely feels like we're getting closer and closer to competing with Europe's elite. The good news is our season is far from over. We've secured Champions League football once again, we're in a great position in the league and we're still chasing the Scottish Cup. So there is still a potential treble left to play for. But that is going to do it for this episode, and if you've enjoyed it, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.